Alright, so today I'm going to show you how to set up your proxy for penetration tests, either for web applications or also for mobile applications. I will also have chapters inside of the description because I'm going to show 3 different ways on how to set it up, so you can just click on the way you are most interested in. And without further ado, we are just going to give a quick introduction and then go straight over to the different ways on how to set up the proxy. So today, most modern web and mobile applications work by continuously connecting to backend servers in order to send and receive data and then processing this data on the user's device, like for example their web browser or mobile phones. So with most applications heavily relying on backend servers to process data, testing and securing the backend servers is quickly becoming a lot more important. Testing web requests to backend servers make up a bulk of the application penetration testing, which also includes concepts that apply to both web and mobile applications. To capture the requests and traffic passing between the applications and backend servers, and also manipulate these types of requests for testing purposes, we need to use web proxies. Okay, so web proxies are specialized tools that can be set up between a browser or mobile application and a backend server to capture and also view all the web requests that are being sent between both ends, essentially acting as a man-in-the-middle tool. So while other network sniffing applications, like for example Wireshark, operate by analyzing all the local traffic to see what is passing through a network, web proxies mainly work with the web ports, such as but also not limited to the HTTP port 80 and the HTTPS port 443. This is why web proxies are considered the most essential tool for any web penetration tester. Okay, so first of all, we need to get a proxy. So for my demonstration, I'm choosing the Zed Attack Proxy, or ZEP for short. We can download the ZEP from its download page, choose the installer that fits our operating system, and then follow the basic installation instructions to get it installed. We can set up this tool as a proxy for any application, such that all the web requests would be routed through it, so that we can manually examine what requests an application is sending and also receiving. This will enable us to understand better what the application is doing in the background and allows us to intercept and change these requests or reuse them with various changes to see how the application responds. Since we have our proxy installed now, we can start with the basic setup. Most proxies will use port 8080 by default, but you can also check this in the settings. And we can also use any available port. If we choose a port that is already in use, the proxy will fail to start and we will receive an error message. In many cases, we want to use a real browser for pen testing, like for example Firefox. In order to use Firefox with a web proxy tool, we must first configure it to use it as a proxy. We can manually go to Firefox preferences and set up the proxy to use with the web proxy listening port. And that's it. Now we can visit any website or web application that we want and check the network traffic inside of our proxy tool. Now let's take a look at how to properly set up our proxy. Instead of manually switching the proxy, we can utilize the Firefox extension Foxy Proxy to easily and quickly change the Firefox proxy. This extension can be installed to your own Firefox browser by visiting the Firefox extension page and clicking Add to Firefox to install. Once we have the extension added, we can configure the web proxy on it by clicking on its icon on the top of the bar and choosing Options. Now that we are in the Foxy Proxy configuration page, we can switch to the Proxies tab and add a new proxy. You can name it with the proxy that you are using as a tool. For this example, we have ZEP, then the type of traffic, which you can leave at HTTP, the host name on which your proxy is running, which is just the local host or 127.0.0.1, and the port of your proxy, which is port 8080, and then you can just save the configuration. Now you can select Foxy Proxy on the top right on your browser and switch it from disabled to the proxy you have just configured. This way you can just enable and disable your proxy whenever you need it and don't have to manually set it up and remove it again, like with the Firefox base proxy configuration. Now that our proxy is working together with the browser and we can see the traffic, we want to add some additional configuration. So another important step when using Zed with our browser is to install the Web Proxy CA certificate. If we don't do the steps, some HTTPS traffic may not get properly routed, or we may need to click accept every time Firefox needs to send an HTTPS request. To get Zed certificate, we can go to the settings, to the network tab, and then look at the server certificates and create our root CA certificate. Set up the validity of how long this certificate is going to be valid. I have it maxed out right here, and then save it locally. Once we have our certificates, we can install them within Firefox by browsing to the About, Preferences and Privacy settings, or just searching for certificates and then clicking on View Certificates. After that, we can select the Authorities tab and then click on Import and select the downloaded CA certificate. Now finally, we must select Trust this CA to identify websites and Trust this CA to identify email users, and then click OK. Now, once we install the certificate and configure the Firefox proxy, all Firefox web traffic will start routing through our proxy. In case you still run into issues on Mac, for example, you can add the certificate inside of your keychain, because some browsers choose the certificate authority from your operating system. I hope that this could help you with your web proxy configuration, and in case you have any open questions about proxies or Zed specifically, write them in the comments and I will answer them, or maybe even do another part to this tutorial.